Z, on today's show, we're going to be talking about why you just can't keep people on your staff if they are incompetent.
Well, you can, but it doesn't work out well.
I think a lot of times people say, I have to keep them on my staff because they're family.
Because I hired them.
Because I'm related to them. Because I went to college with them.
Because it's my fault they're probably not doing better.
Paul, because I've spent a lot of time investing in training them.
Yeah, and I know I can fix them if I just take enough time.
If I take enough time, I can't let them go. I've got so much energy.
They're like family.
Oh, and so, but on today's show, we're going to tell you that you can fire the idiots and you will benefit from doing so.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, and yes,
Oh,
Dr.
yes.
Z, it is ecstasy when you are next to me, and on today's show, we're coming in hot, we're coming in fast, we're coming in fresh with
Are we
some
coming in fast and furious?
fast, furious, and fresh.
Oh, nice.
The triple F.
The triple F. I love it.
Now,
I love it.
what I want to make sure the listeners do today,
Okay.
and Paul, is it okay if we break it into some actionable stuff that the listeners need to do as a result of today's show?
Absolutely. They need to know what to do after they leave here. Otherwise, it's just listen to some pretty voices.
It's just entertainment.
Yeah, it's just pretty voices and pretty faces.
So step one, I want to make a list. I want everyone listening to make a list of all of your employees that you manage. All of your employees, make a list of all of the employees that you manage. Now, Z, why is it important to look at that list maybe once, I don't know, a week? Why is it important to really just know who's actually on your payroll? I mean, as a business owner with a lot of employees, why is it important just to take time to look at those people and go, who are these people?
Who are these people? Well, if you don't, a lot of times you'll end up drifting with your employees. And what I mean by drifting is you start off, it's kind of like shooting a bow and arrow. If you could, when you have a target and when you hit that, when you release that arrow and it's going off, if you could every say foot readjust it, you would get it closer to the bullseye. If you don't, if you're a little bit off at first, it gets way off by the time it hits the target. You know what you follow me?
I do. But Paul, this is the same thing with your accounting. You want to look at all of your expenses and all your income, right? I mean, this is how often before an entrepreneur has done an assessment with you, how often does a business owner have no idea where they're at financially, Paul?
Well, it's hard to say 100%, but it's darn close, 99.99%, Clay. And I got, along we're talking about employees and all of that, I need your advice, Clay.
Sure.
So we just hit 50 employees, so we're growing.
The big
hit
5-0.
that big 5-0.
Yeah.
But my problem is I can't remember some of them's names. So I'm thinking about, I've coached football for a long time. I'm thinking about giving everybody jersey numbers.
Jersey numbers.
Yeah, so like
Jersey
I can say
numbers.
25 has done a really good job, but 14 over there needs some. So I don't have to remember their names. Is that a move?
My understanding is that the K-State football coach has implemented that move at one point during his career. True story.
True story.
Where he decided to just go off of the number system.
Yeah.
I can say this. Everybody listening, some people call it the Jesus principle. Some call it the Jack Welch management principle. I don't care what you call it. You really don't want to have more than 12 direct reports, see, because you want to know their names.
Right. And
Those
10 to 12.
10 to 12. Once you get beyond that, it kind of gets diluted. So I'm asking everybody, step one, make a list of all of the people that report direct to you. All right?
Got it.
Now, step two, see, you want to rank your employees based on the following 5 criteria. Now, this is from Jack Welch, the former CEO of GE, who grew the company by 4,000%. See, 4,000%, that turns out to be
that's pretty
a
good.
big number.
That's pretty good, actually.
That's
So-
kind of like the overstated of the COVID thing, isn't it? 4,000%.
Just
give or
so
take.
we're clear
just about,
today,
Yeah.
as of this morning, the CDC has now reported
Yep.
that an outstanding 9,210 people have actually died from COVID-19, not with COVID-19.
How do you think they figured that? I mean, how do they figure that out, and how could it be so off? What's going on?
I feel like at this point, the Center for Disease Control, it's kind of like we've all had a family member who said, Paul, Clay, or whatever they'll say, I'm going to be there this Thanksgiving. You know it. You know
Count on it.
You count on it. I'm going to
have
be
my
there.
plate ready.
And you're going, hey, no pressure.
Yeah.
Obviously, this year you couldn't make it. We'll see you next year. No big deal. And they go out of the way to go, no, I'm going to see.
I'm doing it.
You can count on me. I'll be there.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I can't make it. It's like that employee that says, I'm going to start being on time every day starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow?
And then it doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen.
Right.
That's kind of what the CDC is like right now. I mean, these guys, I don't know how they have any credibility left at all.
None.
I mean, it's constant. We hear. I mean, all these agencies, the CDC, the National Institute of Health, they keep saying, hey guys, 2.2 million Americans might die from the COVID virus. We've got to shut down the economy to prevent the hospitals from being overwhelmed. We need to build temporary hospitals. We need to bring in a ship into the port in New York.
Yes.
We've got to take the Javits Center and turn it into a temporary hospital.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause it's
That
bad.
no one ever even used.
None.
And we still listen to these people. But now they've come out and said, hey, here's the deal. We realized we were wrong about the number of predicted deaths. We thought it'd be 2.2 million. We were off by 25 times.
Yep.
Maybe even more. We don't know. I mean, it depends on how you define a COVID death.
And,
But anyway.
and Fauci is saying we shouldn't shut down the borders. You shouldn't shut down. Then he hops on TV and says, we should shut down the borders. It was a good decision.
Save lives,
He says,
save lives.
it's 10. He actually said this. It's 10 times more dangerous than the flu. He testified saying that. And then he says, you shouldn't wear a mask. Healthy people shouldn't be wearing a mask. And now he says, you should be wearing a mask. And then he goes out there and throws out a baseball pitch, his most accurate pitch since COVID-19 hit America's shores. He gets out there and throws out the first pitch of the Nationals game. He's trying to
halfway to first base, I think.
he basically threw it halfway to first base, and he's not wearing a mask in the
Horrible.
stands.
Oh.
So here's what I want to do, though. Step one, make a list of all the employees that you manage, okay? And let's give you some names of some employees, okay? Employee number one, let's say that's Dr. Deborah Birx is your first employee, okay?
Uh-oh.
The Scarf Queen. Employee number two, let's say that's Dr. Fauci, all right? Employee number three, let's say that's Bill Gates.
Are we
Employee
running a
number
drug
four,
cartel here?
Let's say this is Dr. Redfield. Okay, so we got four people. We can rate these people. Now what we're going to do is we got to rank them on four areas. Energy, okay? Energize, edge, execute, and passion. So what does that mean? Well, Jack Welch says energy is, does the person bring energy to the workplace? B, energize. Do they energize other people? C, do they make the tough call? D, do they actually get the job done right, execute? And P, passion. Do they have a passion for the job? Again, energy, energize, edge, execute, passion. So if you had to sit down, Z, and give Fauci a rank today, you say, listen, this guy, sir, look at his. Let's imagine. I say, Z, this is our guy, Fauci. I want to give you his report, his quarterly report. So far, he's killed about a quarter of the American economy. I mean, we have 329 million Americans, and he's found a way to put about a quarter of them in a bad spot.
Yeah.
He's been wrong about the masks, the shutdowns, the deadliness of the disease, and he changes his mind a lot in front of the media, and he blames you, sir.
Yes, of course.
Hypothetically, if you were President Trump.
Yes.
He blames you, sir, whenever you're not around.
Right.
How would you rank a guy like that?
I fire him. Okay, so I mean, I have my 5 A's, but going off of Jack Welch's 4 E and then a P, right?
Yeah.
His energy. I saw him at the baseball game, and he was kind of lethargic. And the way he threw that ball, I think he needs some.
Dude.
He maybe needs some workout.
It's almost like
vitamins.
he thought that there was the catcher somewhere between first base.
He wasn't sure. I think he was trying to throw someone out at first or pitch at home. I mean, he was kind of.
Or maybe there was a bee that was running around and he wanted to hit it with a ball.
Maybe it could be. Or maybe saw a COVID virus flying by in the air and he was just offended and was going after it. I don't know.
He just wanted to divert our attention. Kind of like the virus thing. He don't want us looking at home and throwing it in the right direction. He's got to keep us guessing.
That's deep.
He's got to keep us guessing.
It sounds like his character there.
It is.
When you get a guy like this, though, you want to, again, step one, make a list of all of the employees. Because in business, we get going so fast. There's a lot going on. Z, Trump's got press conferences, interviews, trips, travel, campaigning. I mean, he's doing a great job. He's got a lot going on. And but at some point, you got to print off the list of all the employees.
Right.
And you got to ask yourself, I'm going to rank my employees on a scale of A, B, or C. A means these people get it all done.
Yeah.
B means, they almost get it done most of the time. C means they're just not getting it done. They're doing a bad job.
They're like the 74% of them out there that don't like their jobs.
According to Gallup, over 70% of people don't like their jobs.
Don't like it, and it shows in their performance. And they're just kind of clock watchers, phone sneakers.
They're texting under the work tables.
Oh, yeah.
Calling in sickers. People want to take off the entire week of Labor Day.
Oh, yeah.
They're going, do we have Labor Week? So, again, you step 1, though, you make a list of all the employees. Step 2, you rank them. Step 3, you got to supply them with candid feedback. I want to get your take, Z, and then Paul's. Because, Paul, when you sit down and tell someone their financial situation,
Right.
a lot of times they get mad at you.
They
Z,
do.
when you own a business and you sit down with your staff and you go, all right, Dr. Fauci. So, Z, I'll pretend to be Fauci, okay? And you can kind of give me my review.
I like your Fauci voice, by
Here
the
we go.
way. You got it down pretty good.
There you
It's
go.
kind of like, who's the guy that had the bagel shop back in the day?
Z, the bagel shop.
Yeah, no.
All
It's kind of like
Mary's
his cousin.
Bagels.
It's
Mary's
kind of,
Bagels.
yeah. It's kind of like his cousin.
Okay, so here we go.
The bagel man.
So, Z, you wanted to see me?
Yeah, yes, Dr. Fauci, have a seat, please.
All right.
I want to talk about your performance of late.
Real quick, I was sitting down.
Oh.
I was sitting down.
Okay, well, just remain seated then, sir.
Okay. I know it's hard to tell. I stand up and I sit down on the same height.
I'm having trouble with you because I'm getting mixed signals from you, and
Yeah,
that's not good
I
for
was on
our
60
business.
Let me clarify. I was on 60 Minutes and I said you shouldn't wear a mask, and then I was on the press. I got the energy and I was all excited. I was on the White House press conference and I said you should wear a mask.
Why did the science change?
No, just the audience. I was trying to play to the Democrats on the 60 Minutes, and then I was talking to the president. You were watching, and so I switched it up. It's kind of a change up.
Well, let's not have any more change ups, or we'll be doing a change up in your position.
Okay. Do you think I should wear a scarf?
It's done well for Dr. Birch.
Okay. I mean, seriously. So you sit down, give me the feedback. Okay. Now we come back the next week. Okay. We've clearly had this conversation.
Right.
Okay. Here we go. So, boss, you wanted to see me?
Yes, I thought we talked about this last week about the flip flopping.
Well, here's the deal. I know at the NIH on our website, I said it's cited up there. You can see it. That hydroxychloroquine is the best thing for upper respiratory coronaviruses. And I know I said that on the website, and I know I said it to you when we were one-on-one. But then
That's why I'm taking it.
I got in front of the bright lights of the media, and I changed it up.
Well, why? Here again, why would you throw another curveball, another change up?
I don't. Why are you blindsiding me? It's like you're all emotional. I'm trying to do my best, boss. You know what I mean, though? That's what happens.
I know. It's amazing how many times you can sit down with someone and tell them exactly what to do. I had a doctor one time that was doing short, quick exams. Too short. I mean, he would come in. I mean, it was like bam, bam. And I got onto him. Finally, I said, listen, I'm going to wait outside the exam room door. And if you walk through that door back out into the hallway before 5 minutes have passed, just 5 minutes, I'm going to fire you on the spot right here, right now. I don't care if you're in there singing, karaoke with the patient. Just see if you can stay in the room for 5 minutes. He goes, okay, boss. Okay. He walks in that door. I kid you not. 90 seconds later. That's less than 5 minutes, by the way, Clay. Dr. Fauci.
I was practicing social distancing from the patients, and I went in there, and they were everywhere. They were like, there was one right in there, and I had to shut the door to mitigate.
So I said, I cannot believe it. I mean, I seriously thought to myself, you've got to be kidding.
Hey,
I mean, he no longer worked for me.
Could you get me a stool so I can stand up? I can't hear you down here. So, okay.
Someone out there is a business, and they're really, really wanting this information.
You know what I mean, though? This is a thing where, Paul, it's when you tell someone what to do, they have 3 excuses every time. It's
Every time.
I forgot.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know. I forgot. Second is they get very emotional. I can't believe you. I've been here since 1984. Well, how could you possibly attack me publicly? There was the personal attacks.
Right.
Or the third, which is interesting.
I didn't know what you meant.
Yes, they somehow blame you as the boss.
It's moral.
You
Yeah.
weren't clear enough. You weren't clear enough in your directions.
When you asked me directly, should hydroxychloroquine be used? When I said no, I meant no, not in this particular instance. When you think about the root word, what is the definition of is?
Right, exactly.
Bill Clintonism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill
So,
Clinton
Paul,
is-
talk to me about this. When you sit down with an employee who's not getting it done, there's somebody out there that needs to learn to fire faster. There's somebody out there right now, Z, that's stuck. They're stuck,
I know,
Paul.
I know.
No doubt.
Why do you have to purge the land when someone will not get the job done?
Well, the reality is that there's a ripple effect, and so so if you think, I look at it in several ways. If I care about that person and I enable them, I allow them to do subpar work, then I'm enabling them to be a subpar person. And so they, we all learn through pain and through conflict and through, so they got to go. The second thing is the impact they have on the other employees. So, when a bad attitude will go through your office very, very fast. So you owe it to your A players to get rid of C players, or your A players are going to slowly become C players.
Let's cue up the audio. This is Dr. Fauci on 60 Minutes.
Oh, gosh.
Talking about masks. So tell me what you hear. Let me cue it up here. Okay.
One of the nation's top experts in infectious diseases is Dr.
They always just say he's one of the top, but he's actually one of the worst. But I can't be honest. One of the nation's most inaccurate
Yes.
healthcare physicians is.
for tonight's 60 Minutes.
Here you go.
2 points that he made we thought were important for our viewers.
Get it to the point.
Let's take a look.
Get to the point. Here we go.
Early on, the administration was criticized for downplaying the outbreak. On February 2nd, President Trump said, "We pretty much shut it down coming from China." What's the danger of minimizing the risk of an infectious disease outbreak?
Well, I mean, the danger of
We just stop it. Get to the mask part. Here we go.
ability is lost because
In China, millions are quarantined. Is that where we're headed here in the United States?
I don't imagine that the degree of the draconian nature of what the Chinese did would ever be either feasible, applicable, doable, or whatever you want to call it in the United States. I don't think you could do that. The idea of social distancing upon
Talk
where
about this guy. Get to the mask. Let me get to the
There's a
mask.
lot of confusion among people
Here we go.
and misinformation surrounding face masks.
Here we go.
Can you discuss that?
March 20th, by the way.
the masks are important for someone who's infected to prevent them from infecting someone else. Now, when you see people and look at the films in China and South Korea, whatever, everybody's wearing a mask. Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really
No.
closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're
Z, it seems to me like he said, don't wear a mask.
Yes, that's correct.
And now he's saying wear a mask.
Yes, that is correct. Just another one of his flip-floppity.
So let's pretend that you were a speech coach, okay, Paul?
You bet.
For a guy who wanted to be president, all right? And you say, you say, guys, listen, if you're going to be Clay, Z, Joe, you three guys want to be president, okay?
Yeah.
We have a speech course that I'm going to be teaching you. And I want you guys to always remember one rule. What's the rule?
Articulation?
Makes sense.
Oh, makes sense.
And I'm going,
Oh, wow.
oh, makes sense. So what you're saying, what I'm saying has to make sense. You go, right. And we have like an hour-long, 2-hour-long workshop about what it means to make sense.
Oh, there we go.
Listen to this audio of Joe Biden, Paul, and give Joe Biden professional speech tips. This is just 1 hour ago. This is hot stuff here. Here we go. 1 hour ago.
Lives, when you think about it, COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives, when you think about it, COVID has taken this year.
Paul, where do you start there? help him build up from the bottom here. What's he doing well?
Well, Clay, have you ever had the TV on, the radio on, the kids' conversation going over here? The man has multiple conversations going on in his head, and he's just bleeding up. Basically, my advice for him is stay home, don't say a word, and pray that you get elected. Because the more he opens his mouth, the worse it gets for him. So he can't string together. I mean, literally, if I was looking to hire this man to answer my phones at the office, he wouldn't get past the first group interview.
He couldn't make it day one at the entry-level position of any of our companies.
No, and people are really.
If that's the measure of it right there. I mean, because that's why do they even let that get out?
Now,
the
real quick,
atmosphere?
we're because somebody out there, we're talking today about why you have to fire fast and prune the tree. When you have got a limb that's growing the wrong way, you don't get emotional about it. Sit down. Step one, make a list of all your employees. Step 2, rank them, A, B, or C. Step 3, sit down with them. Let them know, hey, this is where you stand.
Right.
This is how you need to improve. See, this is Joe Biden, a speech attempt number 2. Let's pretend you've already, again, Paul had that a great class. He said, guys, listen, Joe, you want to be president. I want you one. You got to make sense.
Just start using sign language, Joe.
So here's Joe. And this is, again, you heard his first attempt. Let's say this is attempt number 2. I'm queuing it up.
I learned a lot. And I learned that it makes a difference. This was the diving board area, and I was one of the guards, and they weren't allowed to. There was a 3-meter board. And if you fell off sideways, you landed on the darn cement over there. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, you see how things had changed? One of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll meet you outside. My car, this was mostly, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors.
Oh, no.
Not a joke.
No, not a joke.
Z, what would be your pro tip if that was your client, you're sitting down with them or the employee, and you go, hey, listen, we've talked about it. Your number one goal to speak is to make sure that you make sense. What would you say to a guy like that? How would you rate somebody? Is that a C? Is that a B? Is that an A? How would you rank?
Well, first of all, you got to know your audience and what's the point you're trying to make. And I think the point he was trying to make in that speech, and I'm stretching here, is that he's a tough dude.
Tough dude.
Tough dude. And I think that's kind of one of the things that he wants to try to get across to folks is that he's tough. Because that's been a knock on him, is that he's a nice guy. He's like a grandfather that you go and visit and you sit around and kind of try to listen to his stories as much as you can. Finally, he nods off and you go do what you really want to go do, right?
But if you're a grandchild, you want a social distance from that brother.
Well, you do. But my point is, he's a nice guy. So I think a lot of his stories over the past, the few that have leaked out, we'll call it that, have been in this context of, I took on Corn Pop when I was a kid. I took on a bad dude, and I survived.
Let me play one more audio clip, Paul. This is, again, imagine that Joe Biden is one of your employees, and because we're talking about, you have to fire fast. If somebody can't get it done, and you've clearly let them know where they stand. Well, this is the 3rd attempt now.
Well, the thing about it, too, is that we also have to look at how you're hiring. Because, like Paul said, this guy wouldn't even get hired.
No.
So you wouldn't even have to worry about firing him, right?
No.
But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, Paul, as we wrap with his final 60 seconds.
Let it rip.
Get yourself ready. Here we go.
There you go.
Here we go. Let me get
Vice
it.
President Joe.
Let me get it. Here we go.
He's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
That's speaking to an African-American group of people.
Got the first sort of mainstream African-American who is articulate and bright and clean and nice-looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
But Taoiseach knows a lot about it. His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although your mom's still alive as your dad passed. God bless her soul. And I promise you, as I told my wife, we live in an area that's wooded and somewhat secluded. I said, Jill, if there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony here or walk out, put that double-barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house. Buy a shotgun. John's last-minute economic plan does nothing to tackle the number.
Paul, what do you think about that?
That's preventative crime.
So if of course I can't see your screen, so I'm thinking that's a dude that has a white jacket on that kind of attaches in the back. The man's lost it, and again, that's a problem. We don't hire our president based on their skills or what they stand for. It's a popularity contest, and I'm telling you. It's a Saturday Night Live skit. There's something's going to be. There's a rabbit going to be pulled out of the hat. Something's not right with this man. But he would never work for me because he would never get past the
hiring process, the interview process.
Yeah, we do group interviews, and if he's sitting in a room with 12 people, he may be a guy that you want to go have a drink with so you can laugh your butt off because he has. You're hoping that the more drinks he gets in him, the more you can understand him. But he is not getting a call back.
No, that's for
And
sure.
you could spend all of your day and life trying to coach that up.
We're trying to figure out what that is.
They're doing it. Trust me, they're doing it. They've got the speech writers. They've got the coaches. I mean, everybody's in there. I mean,
they got Pelosi saying, "Shut your mouth. We're not going to debate at all."
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have him looking at a mirror all day long, saying, "I'm Joe Biden. I'm Joe Biden."
That's it.
I'm pretty sure I'm Joe what? I'm Jiden?
What?
I'm Bo Jiden. No, Joe. No, it's the other. God bless him. Anyway, I can hardly wait for the debates. I mean, the 29th, I know now why they pushed them back as far as they can. You know, some states are already starting to vote by mail in, absentee ballots and whatnot, the next, couple, 3 weeks. And can you imagine voting before you see them in the debates?
No.
Don't do it, folks. Wait, let's really get a handle around what we're talking about. And he's been in politics for so long. A lot of people have, maybe a good memory of him. I mean, 47, 48 years he's been around, and he hasn't completely messed up every single day of his life.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm a CPA. You're a doctor. But here's what I see, Clay, and see if you agree with this. I think the man gets in trouble when he tries to be something he's not. When he tries to act tough, he makes up stories. Or when he tries to be black, he gets screwed up.
When he tries to be vice president or president, I think
either way. I mean, just he gets off on these tangents, and he doesn't have a very creative mind in trying to spin these stories, and he ends up just it's to me it's like a 3-year-old, trying that did something wrong, trying to make up a story that spins it. And they're 3 years old, so they don't have enough creativity in their mind
to lie well.
Yeah, to lie well, and that's Joe Biden, I think.
Unbelievable.
But getting back to employees, I think it's very important for you to have a template. Jack Welch has a template that he uses. I have a template that I use that I'm gonna throw out there right now.
Do it.
But it's very important for you to, because a lot of times you say, "How's that employee doing?" and you're kind of going, whoa, that's a pretty nice guy. So I break it down. I have the 5 A's.
Yep.
And then I break each one of those down, and I actually give each one a score in my mind or write it down. And then from there, I can extrapolate. And all of a sudden, you think the person's an A. By the time that you break everything down and give them a score, you're like, oh my gosh, they're just above average, really.
Agreed.
I mean, they're not all that special, but they're your friend, and they say a funny joke when they're with you, and you make you laugh, and you're like, yeah, that's a good guy or a good guy. So here's my 5 A's that I break down, and these are pretty much attendance. I mean, that's here again.
Do they show up?
Do they show up? Are they on time? Do they take a long lunch? I had a doctor one time that would take a 2-hour lunch.
Like
wow. That wasn't our deal. One
Siesta.
hour, 30 minutes if we're really, really busy.
Impressive.
Okay? So attendance, appearance. I mean, that's something you could pretty much give someone a grade to. A lot of my employees at the optometry clinic wear scrubs. Do the scrubs look like they've been slept in? The kind of the cool thing that I just get irate about is the women will go and keep them real long and then cut up the edges, and they're walking on them all day long, and they look like they've been walking on scrubs all day long. Another one's attitude, and that's kind of what Jack Welch was talking about. Do they bring good energy? Do they have a good attitude?
No.
Are they always trying to suck juice from other people? And what I mean by that is, are they a leech? Are they a giver? Are they a taker of energy?
You never called me on my birthday 2 years ago.
How are you doing today, Billy?
Okay.
Well, my brother got in a car wreck 2 days ago.
They almost make you depressed when speaking to them.
Should have asked me yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. It was all right.
Yeah. Accuracy. This is something you can put a number on. I mean, are they doing their job correctly? Are they accurate in what they're doing?
Dr. Zoellner, there's a Mark or a Clark in that room up front who needs to be seen. Or it could have been a Kevin.
Could have been a Kevin.
Either way, he's up there.
Oh, yeah. And it used to drive us all crazy. Now we're electronic, but, back when you used to have little paper charts, Clay, you may be too young to remember this.
No, I remember this. Oh.
And then they would put the names on them.
Oh, talk to me
And
about
then they would alphabetize them on the thing. And then they would just
sexy thing.
They'd be gone. They'd be the black hole of file cabinets. They'd be forever gone. I mean, forever. And then all of a sudden you find them years later. You'd be like, oh, I thought that's a D, and I put a P on it. Oh, no wonder. That's not even close to where it is in the file cabinets. Right?
That's
so
hot.
accuracy, very important. And then the last one is when I kind of above and beyond. Are they just doing their job, or are they learning new other areas? Are they going above and beyond? Are they helping someone? Or are they just being proactive and seeing a problem and going to fix it. You know, I love it when I show up. If there's trash around the building, for instance, I'll just go pick it up and throw it away. I don't even think twice about it, you know. And when I see one of my employees do that without me having to tell them, that is going above and beyond. I had an employee the other day reach out to me and say, hey, listen, I'd like to kind of, you know, on the slower days, maybe learn a little bit more of the optics or how the glasses are really made and what that really means. And I'm like, absolutely, you go for it. In fact, there's some good courses. I'll pay for them if you want to take them online. Talk to the lab manager. They're very good about teaching. And they went above and beyond to kind of learn more just so they have an overall better understanding of everything going on. So to recap, you could use these. You could use, there's other formulas out there, but to recap mine again, we have attendance.
Yep.
Appearance.
Yep.
Attitude.
Yep.
Accuracy.
Truth.
And above and beyond.
Quick thought.
Love
Yes.
it.
Please use Dr. Z's A's or Jack Welch's E's. Don't get into all these complicated options. There's like pretty soon you got a spreadsheet with 407 different variables of what makes a good employee, and those are all made by college spinsters who are trying to find a way to justify hiring idiots.
Right.
I mean, just get out of there. Don't quit doing. There's a certain point, I guess, in a place for personality tests, but I know of actual employers that have employees that are terrible at their job because they scored high in some obscure personality test. So can they get it done?
Yeah, Z and having the A's or the E's or whatever.
I like Z's.
Yeah, I like his A too. But if you walk up and you evaluate an employee,
yep,
and you say this is what we want, this is what we expect. Literally, an evaluation is you just walk up and point to accuracy. And do you think you've been pretty accurate?
Right.
And so it makes the evaluation and the firing really, really simple because you point to these 5 things and say, these are where you're not meeting.
We're going to go interview a doctor next here on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show. So we're going to end this segment with a boom. Are you guys ready?
Oh, absolutely.
Remember, these are hot mics. We don't want to blow the mic. One giant step back. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.